फोटो सेशन नहीं हुआ क्या? नहीं लिया था क्या? फोटो ले भाई। चलो चलो देखो।
Welcome back, friend. Now the session is for artificial intelligence. As you all know, AI is more and more important in our day-to-day life. And in our profession, AI also give an important role to enhance our quality and ability. To promote this, we have with us our learned speaker, CA Devang Doshi, who will enlighten us how we use comfortably AI in our profession. Before taking so much time, I request our past convener, Seema Mehta, to give a brief introduction of our speaker.
Good morning. Thank you, Kailashi, for giving me the opportunity to introduce today's speaker. C. Devang Doshi. He is a partner at KKC and Associates, formerly Kimchi Coergy and Company. He is a chartered accountant, CPA, and registered valuer. He is a member of AI Committee of WIRC of ICAI, member of Digital Connect Committee of Chamber of Tax Consultants of India. He has extensive industry exposure mainly in the field of NBFC, ARC, asset reconstruction companies, merchant bankers, stockbrokers, asset management companies, manufacturing and service sectors. His expertise in gap conversion, handling complex accounting transactions under Ind AS and IFRS, transaction support, capital market transactions, and IPO. Main domain areas: distressed asset business, listing regulations, corporate laws, and auditing standards. With this brief introduction, I welcome CA Devang Doshi ji. And on behalf of JB Nagar Study Circle, I request past convener CA Maheshwar ji, Deepak Shubhra ji.
On behalf of our study circle.
हाँ जी मैडम.
Yes.
कहाँ है वो? Yes. Mic is yours, sir.
Hello, good morning everyone.
नाश्ता की अभी तो थोड़ा.
So I am Devang Doshi. Okay, before we start, raise your hands if you have used ChatGPT in the past. Everyone. Okay. If you have used anything apart from ChatGPT. So we have good audience here who have used a good amount of AI. So I hope my task here will be just to give you incremental knowledge as to how you use AI in audit. Okay, raise your hands if you are into predominantly into audit. Okay, few. And rest of them are into taxation, indirect taxes. Okay. I hope I'll cover few aspects where AI can be used in tax. But I am into audit, so I will focus more on audit, but I will give you some updates, some insights on using AI in tax as well. Okay, anybody know this person? Have you seen this person before? So this person actually is an unofficial father of AI. His name is Alan Turing. He was a British mathematician. Now, how he is the father of AI? Because in 1930s and 40s, during World War, he actually invented a machine with a concept called as what if a machine could think? What if a machine could think? And the reason he invented this machine was because Germany started using a machine called Enigma for the communication. Decryption of this machine, not on real-time basis, caused a lot of losses during World War. He invented this machine where a machine could decrypt on a real-time basis and actually helped in shortening the war by a couple of years. So he was the first one to get this concept of what if a machine could think. Eventually, the war was reduced by a couple of years because of his input. Unfortunately, he died of depression post World War without any recognition. And artificial intelligence, the term, was coined in a science fair in US. But unofficially, he is the one who started AI in 1930s and 40s. There is a movie called Communication Game. I mean, it's a wonderful movie to watch on how it started. I brief. Just a brief profile. I'm partner with Engineering Boards company. Now known as KKC Associates LLP. I'm a CS registered valuer. I'm predominantly practice into audit, statutory audit, and I'm also member of different committees of WRC and CPC with respect to AI. I have got three main objectives. First is use of different LLM models, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and SLM models will come to that, and how it is to be used in audit. How we can address the pain points that we face in our day-to-day life with respect to audit assurance and taxation activities, and we conclude with some takeaways. Just to set the context of AI, AI actually means that any computer system which has an intelligence and gives an output. People have actually defined it in very technical way. There are a lot of speakers who have defined AI in a very technical, very complex way. But eventually, it is something that generates information. There is a machine which gives an output. That's an AI. And before we start, you know which AI we have used. You know which how we have used that AI. Any answers for that? We have already been using AI for a very long time. The first AI that we actually use is calculator. Calculator is actually the first form of AI that we have used. It is called as rule-based AI. That means it follows a rule, if this and that. The answer will always remain the same. Be program calculator. So it follows the rule and it doesn't deviate from the rules. Second AI, that is there since very long, is called as machine learning. Now, the calculator got into spreadsheets later, where a lot of information was stored into spreadsheets. And because of that, recognizing patterns in spreadsheets become very easy. So you can recognize pattern, place everything in a spreadsheet. And that's why if there is any gap there, it was recognized immediately. And this is called as a machine learning AI, where the pattern is followed. Just like a security guard in a building, he knows the pattern, he knows who will come in, who will go out. Same way a machine learning actually performs. Next and most important, the reason we are here is because of generative AI. Now, generative AI, we know that for the last 3 years AI is in picture because the ChatGPT we were accessible to ChatGPT, and a lot of content was generated from ChatGPT. And how this was generated basis the knowledge, basis the spreadsheets, basis the world where internet information going into, and this AI facing things ourselves. So generating AI basically generating information from whatever information it is trained on. So it's just like a chef that over the period of years you have a lot of experience with yourself, and now you make new things with those experiences. So generate more recipes, generate more content is this experience that you get. And the last one is listening AI. Listening AI is something like there is a pattern of thinking. It's like a NASA scientist. There's a pattern of undertaking a particular action in a particular way. You don't have to go and do command every single thing, very simple things there. They know how to perform. And reasoning AI is now available in almost all the LLM models. There is something called as in ChatGPT also we have a reasoning model, in Cloud also we have a reasoning model. So there prompting techniques is not required so much. There is a trend, there is a pattern which is followed by the LLM model. So that's the reasoning AI. And the very new thing is agentic AI, wherein agents are like a blue and color organizations. They know what to be done, what to be realized, and they take actions by themselves. Till now, it was a conversation, but in agentic AI, the actions are already taken by those agents. Okay, anybody know what's the platform of GPT? Very near. It is called as generative pre-trained transformer. Now, have you seen movie called Transformer? So transformer is like a robot converting into a car. So it transforms, right? Same as a transformer, whatever input you give to ChatGPT or models, it gets transformed into something into your intended output. So transform means understands the key points of whatever you write. And from your input, it infers and understands your intent. So it actually predicts what you want to ask. Okay, it's very important to understand that prediction is here. AI was a prediction model. So whatever input you give, it predicts as to what output you want. So transform will identify the keywords, it will make assumptions, and then it will give you an answer. So understanding what you write in this model, it will infer your intent, it will make assumptions, and accordingly give you an output. Hence, the model hallucinates. So it is important that whatever you write in this model, it has whatever input you give, you get that output. So better if you write a better prompt, you will get a better output. Some of the popular LLM models that you already use is ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Grok, Claude, Copilot. Okay, anybody using more than one model here? Okay, what is the predominant model that you use apart from ChatGPT? Perplexity. Okay, okay. So varied practices. But whatever you use, I think it's helpful in your practice, right? That's what you're using it. Prompting techniques, I just allow me few time on this technique. There is lot of framework as to how you write a prompt in any of the models. You can follow any framework of writing a prompt. Only thing that you have to understand is there has to be a consistency in writing of prompt. If you are consistent about writing your prompt, the LLM model will understand you much better. So you can follow any framework. I actually follow a framework by a person. A framework is called as CREATE, CREATE, and it is given by a person named as Devang. He is a European AI expert who has taken out this framework, explaining world over. So what this framework is about, that whenever you give a prompt in ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity, you first start with the character. You say what role should be specified, or you specify a role that your model wants to, you want the model to play with. So if you want the model to be an auditor, just say you are an auditor with so much experience. So you make him wear a cap, make him wear a hat for the role. Next is request. Emphasize the need to clearly state what you want. Be very specific in your request. So be specific and provide context. Next is example. E stands for example. If you provide reference material to your model, it will perform better. A stands for adjustments. If you want anything specific not to occur in your output, then you see what the adjustments are. T stands for type of output. If you want a particular output like a tabular form, bullet form, you can specify those outputs. And E stands for extra. That if you want something to be added, like please make it very clear. You can treat this as an emotion, you can treat this as a person, and you can give those directions and extras. So if you follow this framework, not necessarily to follow, but if you follow any of the framework that you already following, just be consistency there. Some of the models that I use specifically for audit purpose, one is ChatGPT, specifically I use for data analytics, scheduling tasks, and deep research. Anybody do deep research here? Next is Gemini. If you are in Google Workspace, everything in Google, say for example, Google Sheets, you have Gmail, then Gemini is one of the best to connect all the dots in the Google Workspace. Perplexity, obviously, those who are Airtel users would be using the Pro version by now, hopefully. Perplexity, again, by an NRA, very good with citations. Actually, the first one, where the answer is given or they give citations for the answer that they provide. The first model to do that. Now, even ChatGPT Claude does that. But first one to come out with citations. There is a deep research paper and there is a Comet browser. Now, Comet browser is now available in India, where it's an agentic browser. So if you give instructions to commit browser, it will do a lot of things on its own. Claude, again, who is Claude? Okay. Claude is very good for drafting. So if you are into research work, if you are into drafting of opinion work, Claude gives a very good output in drafting of reports. Secondly, Claude has a very large context window. So what happens is if you put a 100-page PDF in any of the LLM models, the LLM models has a restriction inbuilt of analyzing those files. So of the 100 pages, say 50 pages it is thoroughly analyzed. The rest of the 50 pages might not be thoroughly analyzed. In that context, in case if you are using the Claude, if you are putting in 100 pages, at least 70% of the pages will be analyzed in a detailed way. So the context window of analyzing documents is much larger in Claude.
It works just like notebook.
So notebook will come to that. But Claude is just like ChatGPT. Just like ChatGPT.
You can upload a PDF document and all.
Yeah, you can upload PDF, you can upload Excel board. Now everything is physical. Initially it was only PDF, but now everything is there. Notebook is a restriction of not allowing PDF, sorry, what. And again, it's a responsible AI. Even if you put in personal problems in Claude, it will not give you a vague answer of committee suicide, which ChatGPT used to do. So it's a responsible AI. First one in the market to do that. So anybody is used for that?
Word Excel.
So that is one app within Word Excel, paid version. Okay, anybody has used paid version of Copilot? Okay. Okay. So what is Copilot? This is available in the web version, one is the work version. We'll come to the work version as to what the benefits are. The best benefit to operate in a Copilot environment is the security. Because we all operate to an extent in Microsoft Excel, in an office, MS Office environment. And if you are operating in an MS Office environment, you know that whatever files, whatever confidential files that you have on MS Excel or Word, it's already in a Microsoft environment. And that's why that enterprise grade security is available to you. So if you are using Copilot version, it has a lot of benefit because you can actually apply AI in the document itself. And come to that as to how it can be done. But as an auditor and as a professional who is working in a Microsoft environment, Copilot is extremely useful. Okay. So Perplexity is a well-rated Google. Okay. Only good thing about Perplexity is when you Google something, you get links. When you go in the links and you click and get the answers. But now Gemini obviously has covered that as well. But Perplexity will give you that particular need to go to the links, fetch the information, give the information, along with the citation as to where it has taken the information. So you click on the citations and you can go to the store. As to where it is taken. If you are a written user, Perplexity Pro provides for free for 1 year. So you can use that. Even the screen version is good, you can try this out using Perplexity. Quickly on what we should do with the LLM models that we are already using. I hope everybody has set their profile on the LLM models that they use. If you have not set a profile, please not engage on the earliest basis, set your profile. Tell the LLM models as to what you are and what answers or what expectations you have from that model. It will be easy for them to understand and accordingly give an answer. Follow a framework of prompting we have discussed. Give examples of this model because you have to understand this GPT models are trained on 15 million rows. It's like a big huge library. So if you give examples, he has to he will understand as to what path he has to follow. Lot of information can be so in when you write a prompt, make sure most of the important information is at the start or the end. In the middle, give examples, but beginning at the end is important for any prompt. You can create a prompt library. I have a library which I shared with you as to how and which model I use for different purposes. But create a prompt library, make it in Word, Microsoft OneNote, if it is accessible. Whenever you output the individual models, ask the model to check itself. Very important. One of the jailbreak that I got here is whenever I get an answer, I say to LLM that your answer is incorrect. Your answer is not as per the expectations. And immediately the LLM model takes a gives an immediate root and takes a note of it and generates another correct answer. So that's the thing that if you ask the model to check itself, it will probably check itself, possibly give you a better answer than what was spent. Possibly give you a better answer than what was spent, what was before. Cross-check your answers with other AI chatbots. यहाँ पे एक बात है cross-check करोगे तो थोड़ा easy रहता है. Just to make it comfort, it is a थोड़ा अलग होता है. Specifically in the audit field, please do not share confidential sensitive information unless you know the security features and unless you are sure about the security features. If you are aware that your model is giving you enterprise grade security, then only go and operate there. Otherwise, it is very difficult to actually know the reach of this model. It might very well happen that you provide a document and that document is used by LLM model and giving output to some other user along with the file that you uploaded. So if you are uploading a file in any of the LLM models, please be aware of the security features. Do not upload any personal information or confidential or sensitive information in those models. One of the best tools we use for consultants, for auditors, for taxations, it's an amazing tool and it is developing constantly, continuously by Google. Now, notebook LLM. Go on into research work into research. Okay. If you are into research work, one of the best tools is notebook LLM. It is a small language model. Now, you have to understand that what is the difference here. ChatGPT, Claude, those are large language models trained on a lot of materials. Pre-trained on a lot of materials. But if you are using Google Notebook LLM, it's a small language model. That means it will be trained on documents that you provide. And it only works on those documents. And the more you work with a particular document in Notebook LLM, the more better your output comes. So it's a small language model. Google has given this feature to private users who use it. None of the other big players has given this access. You can upload PDF, text file, YouTube links, website links here. It will easily summarize that for you. Only problem here is they don't accept the Excel or the Word file in Notebook LLM. If you want to put those files in Notebook LLM, convert it to PDF. and then we will put it. Also, when you upload any document in Notebook LL, it gives you the citations, the material from which he has given the answer. It comes with a caveat that this is AI generated, but still it is lot better than what information is given by ChatGPT or LLM models in this case. As discussed, it only universal provided documents. So that is one of the best feature here. Now, how it can be useful is you can upload your NDAs, your Kylo guidance code, tax audit, income tax notices, RBI circulars, SEBI notices, all the regulations in a notebook, and start interacting with these files as to what all the desired output that you want. It can go, you can understand and explain in the manner that you want it to be. So a lot of things, there's a possibility of a lot of things happening in notebook. It creates mind maps. Anybody idea what is mind map? It is just like a tree diagram, basically. So it can link multiple features across multiple files and give you a tree diagram or a map as to how everything is interlinked or interconnected. So if you have few materials, interlinking files, you can create a mind map for Google. Also, you can create slide deck like a PPT. You can create infographic, you can create business, reports, flashcards, a lot of things can be done in Google. Very useful tool for training. Be it your firm, be it your company. It is very useful tool because it only works on those documents that you provide. You can provide your audit manual, you can provide your employee manual and code of conduct. You can generate questions from there and give away the most possible viable answers from this model. Do you want me to show you the practical side of how Google works? Going to notebook LM is very easy. Just enter notebook LM. This is the main page of notebook LM where you can create notebooks. So there are multiple notebooks that you can create. Whatever I'm saying is all free version, nothing to be paid out here. You can create a notebook from here. Now you can upload any source here. Now this sources is limited to 50 files. 50 files can be PDFs, can be your web links, can be video links. If you have a lot of PDFs, you can merge those PDFs and upload. So 50 files is just the outer limit, but you can obviously merge PDF and upload here. When you upload here, now for example, Indian 709. Who is into Indians here? Into audits? Okay. Indian 709 is financial stories. Little complicated sometimes even for series. So I say I will just upload Indians 109. It will take some time to upload. And on the right, you will see various features there. There's an audio overview, there is a video deck, there is a mind map, there is reports, flashcard, quiz, infographics, slide deck. Lot of things you can do is the document that you uploaded here. You can click on any of that and start working on these documents. Let us go back and do for this. Now when I click on mind map, a mind map like this gets generated. So what it does is, on side level, it gives a breaker, and then you can just click on further, click on links, it further expands. So for easier understanding, you can break up multi documents here and get your answers. Say for one account, I want to say, okay, what does the standard say, and what is, and then if I want to go to specific item, I just click there, and it will go to the specific item and give the relevant content that I require. Obviously, citation of sources as to where it is taken from. So this is one good advantage of mind maps. Then you can have quizzes. There's also a slide deck. This is prepared by notebook element itself. It can actually prepare a PPT. It's a PDF, you can upload it to get converted to PPT. But the beautiful slide is prepared itself by notebook element. You can have quizzes, you can have flashcards, lot of options. Very beautiful model to explore. Please go and have a look at this model once. And also now you have a feature of you can just start writing here as to what you want. And those sources will also get imported. You can start questioning. So for example, if I want to say, what is the India's impact on say banking industry? So when we go to that sources, I can upload here. So I have already uploaded the sources in the website. Here. This I given by notebook itself. And then I start questioning those documents as well. So specific uses for audit. What is the accounting research for? You can draft your audit procedures here very easily. You can upload all the standards of auditing, upload all the technical guidance material given by ICAI, and you can draft specific audit procedures for a relevant client. Caro report, if you are drafting Caro report, you can actually upload a Caro guidance note and you can check your Caro report with those guidance note. Very easy, it will actually go on each tab of Caro guidance note and check all the Caro reporting that you have done in the report. And it will give you one-to-one tagging as to what mistakes or what non-adherence is there in the report. If you are missing any clause, it will actually specify this clause is missing, so please go and have a look. NFR is some of the lot of audit procedures that needs to be done. Obviously, you can have an NFRA, whatever NFRA notebook, start asking questions as to what audit procedures I have to implement in my audit process. Tax audit queries, very useful if you have tax audits. upload income tax act, upload tax corporate guidance code, start asking queries, you will get your answers. Companies and queries, very relevant. You can upload all the companies that all ones trained on there and ask questions. Similarly for tax queries. If you have GST, income tax, make a notebook, start asking questions. Medical and dental have less than what ChatGPT does. The only difference between notebook and ChatGPT is hallucination is lower than what ChatGPT is. And ChatGPT will give you answers where the sources might not be the source that you want to actually look for. So this is good tool in that way. Specifically, I use a combination of different elements in my course of work. I use Perplexity for getting all the recent regulation, recent notifications into everything into one place. Then I translate any circulars. So, for example, there are different language circulars that I don't understand. I translate those circulars in Gemini. I upload all those documents into Notebook, ask questions to Notebook to get my answers, and I cross-check the answers with ChatGPT. So that at least I get some comfort whether my answer is correct or not. If I use multiple chatbots, obviously there is a different level of comfort. But using ChatGPT for checking the answers will give you that comfort as well. Okay, you have with me, guys? Any questions? Yeah. Right. Correct. Yes. What you can do is you can put your income tax act, the original one, and you can put the new one, and you can ask the notebook to compare what the difference is. In quick second, you get the answer. We have to upload the whole. Better you upload the whole. Because in all the issues gets solved.
He asked a question without even uploading. Even he gives the reply.
No. So the first for the notebook and the first thing is you have to add one source. Then only it starts to then it will open.
I didn't start repeating.
In ChatGPT, you can start reply. No.
They find out the source. Sir. He wants any question on income tax, any section, this thing. Give the reply.
But I'm confident in that reply. Because see, when you start using it often, you will understand, or from my experience, I understood that the sources from which it derived answers were not the right sources to look for. That is what my interpretation of ChatGPT was. So that's why I started using Notebook more often, because the sources I can provide wherein he has to know. That was the difference. Now, for example, what happens in ChatGPT, there could be some circulars which are not there, not effective anymore. Still, I can go to that and answer those answers. But if I know which are the effective circulars, I can only go in that circulars and look for answers. So that is what happens. Because ChatGPT doesn't understand that it is repelled now. It is repelled in some circulars, but it is not out there. It is still a PDF file is still there in the internet. That is what the question.
If I upload the link from the government site, this is the example where I want to understand or correlate or something. So that is that possible? Both the sources from the website itself, not so that's my basic purpose is whatever is currently applicable, that only is there to my answer.
I have tried using links. So, for example, I have tried using ICAI link. when everything gets covered. But the answer that I get is not up to the mark. So we have to understand that it works most in a better way on documents. Web links, it can understand, it can go to that web link, but we don't know whether it clicks on the right thing then. So if you say ICI.org, but I'm asking specific questions for financial auditing. I'm not sure whether it goes that particular document or file that I'm looking for. So it is not working on documents. You can try on links, but I'm not so sure as to what the answers or how comfortable the answer will be.
And second thing, if I have three multiple sources, say for example I have three sources, and I want to generate a mind map covering all these sources, which have common points. Say for which have links. Say for example, standard of auditing, my accounting standards, and my financial framework. I want to compare all these things, and I want to create a roadmap, mind map, so that when I'm doing an audit, I'm get covered for all these aspects. So is it possible?
Yes. So what will happen is, what you can do is, you can merge all areas together. You can merge all sums together, auditing sums together. You can even take the financial statements. If it is not confidential, it is already published in public domain. You can take the financials. There is a take option given. So if you have a lot of sources there, you can just get on that tick. You can take those three files and you can click on the mind now. So it will actually derive as to how this will get interlinked or what it can be interlinked. Only thing is, now if you want to draft a audit procedure, then you have to be very specific on the standard audit. Okay? Because it is one-time effort. Mind map will take three documents together and will give you an answer. But you want audit procedures. That might not happen. Then you have to say, okay, I want to draft an audit procedures. Give me whatever procedures I want to follow. Yeah.
The 50 files only can be uploaded. So, more than 50 files first to delete 50 files first, then you can upload more.
Yeah, you can delete various files. You can delete the source. But instead, you have 50 notebooks available on the project. 50 notebooks, each notebook has 50 files.
Okay.
So make one notebook for one particular specialty, say for example tax office, say for example audit report, or whatever. If you are into one kind of practice, you can create that notebook and you can keep that documents as it is. If you want to remove documents, obviously you can remove. But creating different notebooks, 50 notebooks is more than enough for us. It is more than enough. And 50 files is also more than enough. If you merge PDF, then everything can happen within the 50 notebooks. Yes, yes. You can actually go to that. So LLM model also gives you now an option of deep research as well as research. So you can just write as to what are your ones from internet. It will fetch those items, it will add to the sources, and you can then interact with those documents also. So even your internet is covered, your web page is covered here. No problem. Yeah, can I continue? Okay, anybody has used deep research here? Sir, how have you used deep research? One second. Okay. So deep research, so as I discussed, AI was predicting your next move or it was trying to infer your intent. Deep research doesn't do that. Deep research will actually break your prompt, understand your prompt, and give relevant answer by asking you question first. Okay, that is the difference here. Deep research will break whatever questions you have given answer. AI predicts as to what your intent was. Deep research will answer what actually you want. That's the basic difference here. But deep research in the field of audit in the field of taxation, the field of litigation. Who are into litigation? GST litigation. Very good. If you are into GST litigation, a lot of things have changed in GST over the last 7 years. And when you are actually fighting a case related to 2021, 2020, those notifications might not be available to you. So in those cases, you can actually go to deep research and ask as to what was needed for that particular period. And then you can easily get those chapters, relevant chapters, and can fight on those cases. Yes, good question. So deep research is available in free version in almost all models now. Only thing is, in ChatGPT is the best version of deep research, but you can only use 5 in a month. If you are into paid version, you can use up to 25. Gemini deep research available for free. Perplexity about 3 deep research a day. In Claude, it is called as extensive thinking. That is also available, but that is in paid version. But almost in every model, deep research is now available for free. So first thing, it's available for free, but very paid research. The good thing is it runs on dozens of web searches. Those who have used deep research, they understand that it takes time to get the answers because it is actually doing a lot of web search. If we do it on our own, it will take about 3 days, 1 day, 10 minutes. So a lot of web searches are done. Then it reasons step by step as to what you want and how we can present it to you. And it gives a wonderful report. Takes time, but in the matter of minutes, not in the matter of hours also. In the matter of minutes, it will give you whatever information is required. There is a framework called as validate, investigate, and position. So even if he knows the web search, he will study those websites, study your questions, and then validate, investigate what you want, and then give you a report. Do you want to show the practical side of deep research? First is how it is practically usable in the field of audit. Audit planning, if you are doing audit planning, and if you want to understand what is happening in your client's specific industry, deep research is very useful. Because what happens is you are doing audit once a year for non-listed entity. If you are doing audit once a year, you are not aware as to what has transpired in the last 1 year and what audit risk arises from those events or specifically those clients also. So when you are planning an audit risk, deep research very useful. Technical memos, again, if you are doing audit, what new notification has come in? Suppose for regulated industry, there is RBI notification, SEBI notification, and how it implicates your audit performance or your audit procedures. Deep research again makes a technical memos for that. Benchmarking, very effective use if you are comparing the notes of the financial statements with the industry benchmark. Very easy. You can do this is the notes, you can do the notes, you can compare with what the peers are doing, and you can easily get comparable answers. Further brainstorming. This is a new use of deep research. Today's moment, whatever meaning for the essay is sort of dated. This is another form of data from what you follow alkali analyze. We think that pollution of impulse is the latest problem which can happen. But a lot of technological fraud is now possible. And that's where having a fraud brainstorming for the client is very important. Because you can understand what sort of new fraud is arising in the industry and how I can mitigate it. Going concern, you can see any external indicators of going concern. Obviously, we have to see the risk tolerance when we are giving a report on going concern. And based on the external indicators, you can actually see whether the company going concern is an issue or not. Even for internal audit, you can do a lot of scoping, testing of controls, benchmarking of controls. You can identify failure points. Lot of things basis the overall assessment of the industry or client is in. So that, and even client specific can happen. So if you write a client name as to what was happening, it can still give you answers. Only thing is it has to be available for you. Before going to the practical side, I just show you the framework of deep or the framework as to how you draft a prompt for deep research. So deep research prompt is first you define the context. What is the purpose of your deep research? Who is the audience? And what do you want to do with the deep research? Second is you give the sources from which you want to extract the information from. It could be HCA circulars, SEBI circulars, standards on auditing, ATS, could be anything. Give sources. Next is provide information. So what do you want to be analyzed from? So you want to have a promoter background check. Do you want to have a fraud background check? You can have a thorough reliable frame information. And fourth is present your findings. That could be format, tone, structure, must haves. So if you draft your prompt in deep research in this consistent manner, you will get an output in a consistent manner. Do you want me to show you kind of deep research tools? I am using the main button, but the findings are the same. And the option there is something for deep research here. Just quickly take the draft of deep research. So this deep research prompt that I have developed is specifically if I'm taking a new audit engagement, I want to understand the risk of the audit risk of taking this engagement. So I just copy this prompt. So I want to, so for example, I want to take a audit engagement of Infosys. My objective is to assess the integrity, governance, risk, regulatory risk of this entity. It has to focus on MCA filings, SEBI, RBI orders, court cases, critical business news, annual reports. Then I need to overview the information, that is the background and track record, history, and then we'll see what or how to present the findings. We will promote a review, we will company overview, we will key activity observation. So I will just copy this prompt. And paste it here. When the first thing that comes up is, it questions me further as to what you actually want. So it questions me whether should I really focus solely on Infosys or include subsidiaries as well. Should my assessment include all other things like ESG, whistleblowers and things? Or should we review includes financial ratio trends to support financial credibility? I say yes for all. The second version won't see similarly. There is no change there. Now it will start the research and it will take some time. Okay, we'll get back to it after some time. The research is going on. Okay, so we'll not waste our time here. But I just flagging a point that there is a deepest option available here, which is very useful.
With the ChatGPT, then
Yeah, for free version. The paid version, so free version is lightweight deep research model. There's something called as lightweight, there's something normal. But still it is very effective for us.
but how do you go to that? Yeah, that's good.
So in that from the new chat, then plus option.
Yeah.
So that was any question here? Yeah.
Can we create some separate kind of thing?
As
Like maybe they could be usually working on profile projects, maybe over a period of week or a period of time. Can we create different apps for different projects so that when we work on creation, which is a link between the earlier.
so in ChatGPT there is something called projects available. You can build a project in ChatGPT and you can have one project for specific purpose that you want, another project for another specific purpose, and then you can build that project itself. That project is available in ChatGPT.
That was possibly possibly for the notebook there.
Notebook LM is specified for cycle. So slide diagram gets prepared in notebook LM.
When we use notebook LM, so there is a limitation that we only confines to a particular document which we are.
Right. So what you can do is you can add sources there, you can add through web search there. So there is some option there where you can add documents by doing a search, and then it can combine all the documents to give you a state. But this slide deck is in a beta phase as of now. It will take some time to get activated at a global level. It's in beta phase. So they're still developing.
For example, like if I have to analyze 50 DRSPs available on the website of city, so I go on to that files tab, and if I pull on the link and I put it in the ChatGPT or maybe any copilot, so will that be effective to have a comparative study between the 50 DRSPs?
It is possible. If you have DRSP, it is possible. Comparison is much very possible. And it depends as to what questions you ask from the DRSP ones. I do this. I do annual reports of a lot of companies together, and I say, now benchmark, compare all the accounting policies or compare all the rules. And that gives me comfort as to, okay, I am actually following it. So that is possible even for DRSP. So even if you are in field research, that is very much possible.
For that, you suggest you take notebook LM.
One is notebook LM and one is scheduling task that I come to. That how it can be used for capital markets or valuation purposes. I will go. Who is used log AI? Grok AI is developed by Elon Musk, now the boss of Twitter, X, as you say. And Grok AI is the only AI model which gives you input from the Twitter accounts. So whatever social urban need is going on for your clients or for yourself, Grok AI will give you the answer. This is the only AI model that goes into the social media and gives you an answer. One of the very good things about Grok AI is it is less filtered. It would be provocative at times. And if you want to critically analyze any document or any comment or any opinion, put in Grok AI, it will be like ruthless in giving you answers which you don't like it, but still it is very good if you want someone to act as a devil's advocate. If you want someone to oppose you. Grok AI is very good in that way. Also, Grok AI has a very large context studio. The same way we discussed about Grok, it can actually upload a huge document and it can analyze all those information in this document and give you answers. So the context window of this Grok is huge. One of the best features of Grok AI that it provides on a free version is scheduling a task. Now, scheduling a task is a very, very important feature and explain why. Now, suppose you are serving your clients and you are the first person to inform your client that so and so things has happened in the industry, so and so things are affecting your company. Some regulation has come up and it is affecting your company. Imagine how the client would feel. So my consultant is coming up to me and saying, okay, this one information has occurred, this one events have occurred, implicating or affecting my company. So even the promoters, your clients would be happy doing that, right? And this can happen if you are up to date on the information that is already going on in the market. And how you can be up to date on this information is by scheduling a task. Now, just personally, we have investments in the share markets. We don't know what is going on because we don't keep a track every day unless we are in the share markets. Now, for example, if you know of a global factor, a global impact affecting your investments, will that be nice? Absolutely. So if you get this information, say every morning at 8 o'clock, and you know what steps I have to take, will that be useful? Absolutely. So when you schedule a task in Grok or ChatGPT or Perplexity, even Perplexity has task scheduling, you can get up-to-date information at a particular time of day. You can do it on a daily basis, you can do it on a weekly basis, or quarterly or yearly basis. It is only in Grok it is available for free. In ChatGPT and Perplexity it is available in paid version. And when you have this task scheduled, then you will get this information on your mail. You have to click on the link and it goes to the source, it goes to Grok homepage, and you can get the answers. So the next thing is scheduling a task. When you are unaware of what updates is happening on your client, or you are unaware of specific sectors or companies that you're auditing. So even if the LLM model is not open, it still works on the background. You don't have to keep it open. You don't have to prompt it every day. You will just get a mail every day. You have to open that link, read whatever information is there, and read the answers. So it works even if you are offering. You don't need to go to the Grok every day. So you can schedule a task asking Grok to check for the updates across the regulators and then also impacting a specific sector. It could be for your investments, could be for your auditing plan, could be for income tax rates, income tax updates, LP updates, could be for anything. Assess its impact on the company you audit. Implications of the financial reporting disclosure, notice and risk auditing procedures. That's how I use audit. you can use it for multiple purposes. Do you want me to show how to do it in Doshi scheduling of tasks or? We go to Grok and the simple thing. You open the home page here of Grok. Go to profile here, at the bottom, you have to just log in with your Gmail. And there is something called as task. You click on this task. I have got one task ready for me every day, but you can create a task here. And I can set a frequency of whether I want it to run only once, not required, but if I want to have daily, I want to have weekly, I want to have monthly. I put in a prompt here saying that whatever global factors impacting my investments or impacting my portfolio, I give the names of the companies in my portfolio. Then every morning before the market opens, at 8 o'clock, you will get a news. Very well to have it. It is a very large window here, so you can. So it's, I think about 70 companies. I have tried with 70 companies. You can go 70. Or you can have one more task. So you can have 3 tasks in free version. In paid version, it's unlimited. The same thing would happen in ChatGPT and Perplexity. Same. But ChatGPT only in paid version. And every day, at a particular time, you'll get this benefit. Okay, will be everyone. You can give a time there as to what time you want. So it is particular time if you want. It's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever time you want. Yeah. So you will get link with the link. You click the link, it will get you your all the 70 companies, it will give you. So for example, I get a report every day for say LPS. Sorry.
There will be separate page for each.
Yes. So for example, so I have done this task for myself. So every day I write this as to what NBFC, what happened in NBFC industry. So every day I get this with the link as to from what source it has taken out. So this is for 26 December, day before yesterday. So it gives me all this information with the citations. Then it gives me industry impact assessment. This is what I want for my own purposes. Could be different for your objectives. So you can give the instructions as to what you want. You can put in the sheet. It is a lot of things. So task can be basically used for regulatory updates, client quarterly industry updates, capital markets, any updates affecting India's IFRS taxation, GST income tax updates. Every day you can do this, whatever updates are coming in income tax. In a specific session, you can schedule a task. Copilot will quickly go through Copilot. Obviously, we have discussed secured enterprise grade security. There is a work version which is paid. If you are in Microsoft environment, recommend to use a work version. A lot of things can happen in work version. When you are using or having confidential information, drafting confidential information, use Copilot. It is inbuilt within the application. So in the Word file, you will get a tab in the side saying this is a code or what you want with the document. So you want to summarize the document, you can go on the right side of the document and say, okay, summarize this. It is inbuilt in the application. So once you open a Word file, you will get a Copilot window in the right. And you can do whatever you want with the document. It is a bit lagging than other LLM models. It is a bit slower, but it's still catching up. It's fast catching up with other models. There is agent building which can happen in Copilot. So if you are using work version, you can very easily build agents, and you can scale across the organization. Now, Copilot agents can be useful for outsourcing your least valuable activity. If you think that some activity is not useful for me or takes a lot of my time, not my judgment, but a lot of my time, like admin activities, you can outsource to agents. You can create agents for that. And that can be easily built in Microsoft Copilot. You can build agents for summarizing of documents. Obviously, you need a summary to read through, but not the whole document. For drafting of certificates, for drafting audit procedures, for casting, cross-referencing, proposal building, building agents. A lot of things are happening in agents, but you have to first understand what is the least valuable activity which I can outsource to agents. As of now, building of agents is available only in paid version. You can use ChatGPT for drafting of instructions. Very easily. Only one person can build and it can be scaled across the organization. So very few people have to spend time in building of agents. Once you build it, test it for accuracy, and you can scale it across the organization. Testing for accuracy is required, obviously, before scaling across. That's about Copilot. Finally, we go to Gemini. Gemini was by Google. Now, very easily accessible to Samsung phone, to every phone, Apple iPhone, to Samsung phones, very easily accessible. It is now number 2 in the market. OpenAI and ChatGPT is number 1, but Gemini is catching it very fast. It is very good in scanning or identifying contents which are handwritten in a document. So if you have a scanned document which is handwritten or scanned, not PDF, it is very, very good in OCR. So identifying what is written in that document is very easy in Gemini. It easily extracts data. So many people use it for invoice, sending across invoices and then getting this OCR done through Gemini, storing it with their drives. So Gemini is very good in that.
We already PDF document is there. Now we want to convert into readable, editable Word file.
That is easy.
That is possible through which.
So what you can do is upload that file in either Gemini and ChatGPT both.
Okay.
Tell it to take the content from this whatever uploaded documents. Compare from both the chatbots to whether the content is easily legible or not.
No, editable.
So once you get the content, copy it into your Word file.
Because many times I've seen that we are not either able to copy nor we are able to.
So one thing is you can upload the file and tell the GPT to identify what is written. Then what is written, get it pasted in Word.
Okay.
Or even ChatGPT can give you in Word version. ChatGPT just identify this content, make it into a Word file. You can have this. ChatGPT can give you output in Word also.
Okay. You
You can edit through. You can download it.
Which tool is better? Which tool is better to convert PDF bank statement into Excel?
I would never upload a bank statement there. Never. See, the thing is, it is very clear even for from those organizations, if they have a personal identifiable information, never upload. Because it might happen that it could be a bank statement for you, it could be a source for someone else in the world.
Similarly, delete all the.
If you are retracting those PDFs, then PDF reading is very good in ChatGPT. Even in Gemini is very good. If you are retracting those information. Excel, yes. Even Copilot can give. Even ChatGPT can give. Only thing is, Copilot you have to have paid one. The web version doesn't work. But ChatGPT can give you. But see, we have to understand that Excel is Microsoft and ChatGPT is OpenAI, a different organization. Whatever data is getting generated, we have to still check it for accuracy.
Payments even if you have paid version.
Sorry?
This payments even if you have paid version.
Yes. What they give you better feature than is the paid version. If you have any multi-state surplus and you want to translate into English or Hindi or Gujarati, very good. Translate is fantastic.
Can you convert from Word to PDF?
In Acharya,
Yeah, or maybe it's mobile.
I have never tried doing that. But I think if you want to convert, there are lot better options if you want to convert it to PDF. Saves PDF is one of the better options. Or I love PDF, small PDF, whatever. So a lot of better options to get into PDF. One thing is that Word, that scanned documents becomes difficult to read. So extracting those information is difficult. So that Gemini is helpful. Yes, it's very easy. If you just translate English, actually it's very Gemini is very good. This is just a brief of what we have discussed. ChatGPT for complex topics, understanding, deep research, scheduling tasks, Cloud for drafting of reports, summarization, reviewing SOPs, flowcharts, development models, publicity related to Google, Copilot for developing sensitive information, Grok, again, scheduling tasks, Gemini translation, if you are into Google environment, much better, and RoboBuilder for rest of the things. If you are into research writing large documents. This is the artificial intelligence index. Now, this is the agency which gives this assessment of which AI is better where. It's a real-time update. They actually analyze and assess models on 3 parameters. One is speed, one is reasoning, and one is intelligence. Those who are AI reliant industry, who are heavily working on AI, for them speed is important, reasoning is important. For us, small players, intelligence is important. So when you assess AI models in intelligence, till last week, Gemini 3 was the best model, and ChatGPT was the second best model. This keeps on changing on a real-time basis. Today it will be something else. But if you generally see Gemini, ChatGPT, and times Grok are the top 3 performers on basis of intelligence. So if you are using these 3 models, generally your answers are good. Your output will be good.
What are the charges of?
So if you ChatGPT actually is giving a Go plan for free for 1 year for all the users. That is about 400 rupees, but that is free for 1 year. After that, they charge you 499 rupees a month. And if you are using a plus version of ChatGPT, that is about $20. That comes to about 22,000 rupees a month. And it is similar across. All is Gemini will be easier at the front in the first few months, then again 2,000 rupees per month. And obviously again 2,000. So $20. Even Grok is little costly, it goes to $30. But mostly giving same for all because we are competitive. This calculate few takeaways, not every AI tool is useful. compare and telling this, don't take any help on the basis of what is said. Primary objective is to save time. Train yourself first, train another. Automation process AI enabled. If you think something repeatedly you are doing in your office, first go for automation. There is a platform for automation. So, for example, in Microsoft, there is a Power Platform where you can automate few things. In Zoho, there is Power Platform from automation tools. Let's not confuse AI with automation. If something is repeated, use automation platform like a place and we can send this, we will this. But if you want some intelligence, then use AI. I have seen people using AI without even touching automation. So please avoid that. Focus on what we only start small. You don't need only global space. You have to start small. Don't rush to be AI first. Let's say AI first mindset. The entity can be AI first later. And it's fine not to do everything. Everyone is still learning. So even if I don't know something is okay, I'm still learning on that. If you have each canvas code for the feedback of the session, it will be helpful to me as well. And I hope there could be some takeaways that you get from this session. And this session will be some way helpful to what you do on a daily basis. I thank LRG, I thank Devang, the JP and the City Circle for giving this opportunity to present you. And thank you for your time and for your patient listening.
Thank you, Devang sir. As we come to the conclusion of today's live training session, use cases of AI in audit. We are truly grateful to see Devang Doshi for taking us through a subject that is not just contemporary but transformational for our profession. The way he connected artificial intelligence with practical audit applications, real life examples, and future ready insights made the session extremely relevant. He has also given us various tools where we can go and work easily and professionally. Friends, he beautifully demonstrated that AI is not here to replace auditor, but to empower them by enhancing efficiency, improving audit quality, and enabling deeper risk analysis. On behalf of our study circle, I sincerely thanks CA Devang Doshi for sharing his time, expertise, and experience with a few lines for him. जो बदले वक्त के साथ वही आगे बढ़ पाए, जो तकनीक को अपनाए वही भविष्य बनाए। आज का यह सत्र यही संदेश दे गया हमें, ऑडिट वही श्रेष्ठ है जो कल को समझ पाए। We request all of you to please give a lot of applause to our speaker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.